Their worth isn't measured in ounces. Hi, I'm Nicole Butera. I am a certified breastfeeding specialist. I am the founder of The Milk Nest. I am also a mom of 3 boys and a wife. Overall, we provide one-on-one, virtual, and in-home lactation services, and we also provide courses to help a mother all the way from pregnancy to postpartum. I'm passionate about helping mothers breastfeed because I have been through the hurdles and the emotional toll that breastfeeding can have. When I had my first Giano, I thought breastfeeding just came naturally, but it didn't, and it felt like one of the hardest things I've ever done. I ended up exclusively pumping for him, and I had those feelings of inadequacy, like I was a second-place parent, and that I wasn't enough. And going into my second breastfeeding journey, I knew I wanted to make it different. I got motivated to learn about not just birth, but breastfeeding itself as well. I feel that the benefits of breast milk are just amazing in itself. No matter if you provide a full feed or drops, I think it is an amazing thing what a woman's body can do. When I see clients and when I talk to these moms with one-on-one services, it takes me back to how I felt during that time. And when I'm able to support a mom in those situations, I feel really honored to be a part of their journey and provide not just professional expertise, but also personal insights. What should breastfeeding look like for a new mom? So breastfeeding is going to look different for everyone. Overall, with a breastfeeding mom, typically what I would say is the golden hour is going to be important. That first hour after baby is born is such a great opportunity to start off on the right foot on breastfeeding. What that's going to look like is basically as soon as baby is born and delivery allows, try to place baby skin to skin. Skin to skin is so beneficial in so many ways. Not only does it regulate baby's heart rate, body temperature, but it also promotes bonding, and it just sets you up for the best start when it comes to breastfeeding. Usually I would say as long as breastfeeding is well established, try to introduce the bottle anywhere between 4 or 5 weeks the latest. Again, remembering that breastfeeding is being well established at first. At this time, a baby is usually willing to suck on anything. You can put your finger in their mouth and they'll start to suck on it. At this ideal time, they still have that reflex of wanting to suck. Now, when it comes to choosing a bottle, I am always going to suggest if you would like to start, go ahead and try to look for a nipple that has a gradual slope shape. It is helping mimic that same oral function that is happening when a baby is nursing, and we are allowing baby to mimic that same function on the bottle. Now, try to offer the bottle at least once a day, every day, or every other day, so baby is still attained to that familiarity. So we're going to talk about practicing pace feeding to avoid a flow preference, and I'm going to go into that in a minute. Overall, when we are starting to introduce a bottle to a breastfed baby, I will suggest, if you'd like, start with a slow flow nipple, but if you feel like they're having a little bit of trouble, try to mimic a nipple with the same flow as your breast. With that said, what I would say is with pace feeding, we want to allow the baby to be upright. And what we are doing with the bottle is basically having it floor level. Now, the reason this is important is because if I were to tilt the bottle just a little bit this way, what's going on is baby is just kind of going at it. There is no control of how much baby is getting because I am just basically giving a free-for-all. With pace feeding, I am allowing the baby to take control of the bottle as they would on the breast, avoiding a flow preference. Why does my baby feed so often, especially a full-term newborn? So again, we're going to go into cluster feeding. Cluster feeding is what is going to be beneficial to help that milk transition from colostrum, transitional milk, mature milk. And in that middle of transitional milk, that's what a lot of moms refer to as milk coming in. But this overall is helping you, helping your milk supply and helping to make sure that breastfeeding from the start goes and starts off great. So remember, with cluster feeding, babies, all they knew were 9 months in your stomach. They were comforted by you, and now outside of the womb, they want to be home again, and you are their home. So typically we look for newborns to feed every 2 to 3 hours. Now with cluster feeding, they may feed more often. And again, that is usually more than normal. Now, if you do have concerns, of course, make sure you are working in hand with a lactation professional. And of course, any questions on your baby, make sure to ask your pediatrician. Some things to look out for, especially if you're concerned on how often baby is feeding, is if they are just feeding every hour on the dot. It is so consistent and you are not seeing those diaper changes going on. Usually we also like to look for baby to meet birth weight at 2 weeks ideally. And if you feel like something is wrong, again, make sure to work with a lactation professional. What if my baby won't take a bottle? I've been there. Don't worry, we can still make the bottle a safe and happy place. We want to associate the bottle as something positive, just like we would want the breast to be associated with something positive. With that also being said, is taking the nipple and the collar and kind of just playing with it in the baby's mouth. You could even put it around their mouth, let them play with it. And of course, when you're offering the bottle with milk, go ahead and start with 1-2 ounces just to give it a try. Not too much so you don't waste your precious breast milk. But actually go ahead and try to get it when baby is happy and content before they're really hungry. If they are red and fussy and screaming for that milk, do not try to give them a bottle. What this can do is it can sometimes make them not even want to deal with it. What you can do to also help get baby prepared to take that bottle is go ahead and do some facial mimicry. So babies, they actually start to mimic facial expressions as early as 2-3 months. And what you can do is actually help them to open wide, go ah, letting them know that you are there with them every step of the way. Another tip is going to be go ahead and start baby off as if they were nursing regularly. Let them get an appetizer worth amount and then go ahead and try to take that bottle and give it to them and see how they do. Another tip, try to give the baby a bottle after a partial nursing session. Babies aren't confused, they're smart. It's often about preference and pacing. What is high lipase milk and how can I fix it? So lipase is an enzyme found in breast milk that can help break down the fat so baby can digest it better. With high lipase, what is going on is usually there's too much of this activity going on, and sometimes it can give your milk a metallic-y, sour, soapy smell. Usually, most babies take this just fine, but if you find that your baby won't, there are things we can do. One of the things that we can actually do is mix some of that breast milk with fresh breast milk, especially if you already froze a bunch. Another tip I would give is you can ask your pediatrician about perhaps putting some alcohol-free vanilla extract in there so they take it. But to really set off on the right foot, what I would suggest is giving your baby frozen milk in the beginning so they are getting more familiarized. You may notice after you've already frozen a bunch of breast milk, as a lot of moms do, but that's okay. We can work on the tips given. You might actually start to notice it too when you've already warmed some milk up and try to give it to baby and they won't take it. Something that leads to less change in smell can actually be freezing milk below 112 degrees as per Academy of Breastfeeding Medicine. What should I know about bottle nipple sizes and flow? Let's go ahead and talk about the slow flow. I usually would recommend a lot of moms start with the slow flow, especially if we're giving a breastfed baby a bottle and they're able to pace themselves. But no need to size up just based on age. I know that there are a lot of nipples out there that say to change the nipple at this age and then at this age, but no need to do that. See what would work best for your family. You can see about sizing up if you start to notice that baby is just chomping at that nipple, they are pulling at it, they are agitated and overall just frustrated. Go ahead and see about the next size up, but remember to pace feed. Don't stress, just make adjustments on baby's cue. I'm a breastfeeding specialist, so I get this question a lot. What kind of pump should I buy? Breast pumps vary from person to person and need to need. Here's what you should know. Know that each breast pump is different and serves a purpose for each lifestyle. Your primary pump is going to be great for a mom who needs that optimization of milk output. And then a wearable can be great if you're just on the go, on the fly, picking up a kid from school, needing more flexibility. I would say I know that there's a lot of information out there, but I want you to remember that no matter what is going on with your lactation journey. You are more than enough. Your worth isn't measured in ounces, and we are all just trying our best. If you feel like you don't know what to do next and you're in that place of stillness and you feel like you just kind of want to stop, I've had similar feelings too. I would advise, and the best advice I got, and I think that really helped me keep breastfeeding, was don't give up on a bad day. And I don't say that, I would never say that in judgment. I would say that more because personally I have been able to make more clear decisions when I felt more at peace and when I felt more calm. But overall, if you are breastfeeding for 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 12 months, and you feel like you're stuck, seek lactation professional support. We are here to help, to guide, and a good lactation professional is going to support you judgment-free. Your baby needs you, not perfection.